Hi, this is Graphically Alex coming at you with all things fat related. If that's something that interests you, please subscribe. I'd love to have you. And today we're going to be covering this sort of fat acceptance-y take. I think it might be a joke. I don't think it is a joke though. But even if it is a joke, the sentiment still stands. I don't think it is though. But you guys can let me know what you think. But we're going to go ahead and listen to the whole thing, and then we will react. This is a stage 1 runner zombie. This is somebody who's in the enabler type. Okay?
One of the bravest things that a young, single, 20 redacted or 30 redacted year old woman can do right now is be a little fat, a little soft around the edges. Do you think I'm doing this out of my own love of delicious food and baked goods? No! I'm doing this for all the divas who came before me. We are the daughters of the witches who were cooking up some truly heinous concoctions from Skinnylicious cookbooks. And I'm also doing it for all the divas beside me right now, because it's getting really scary out there. And you guys are acting like cottage cheese and protein powder are the most important levels of the food pyramid. And I know this isn't within everyone's control, okay? But you are safe with me. Trust. I'm ordering an appetizer for the table. And I'm getting an entree. And I'm eating it all. And I'm not making any comment about how big it is. And I'm getting a dessert. Not for me, but for you. I'm not asking you to thank me, but it is a courageous act of feminist resistance. And I'll be nice and warm this winter. Another one of the bravest things.
So I don't know if it's a joke, but regardless, the sentiment still stands. I think that she says a lot here. Again, joke, not a joke. It's very much still toxic ritualistic. So what I talk about on the channel a lot, we talk about E fall by letter D. I tend to focus a lot on BINGE, or I call it bingo for short. And she is somebody that I believe was raised by somebody in this issue. Based on what she said, we are the daughters of the witches that made heinous things on the Skinnylicious menu. That tells me that she was raised in the spores, in the zombie spores of the toxic ritualistic. So she is somebody who was obviously growing up around that, and therefore that's how she likely connected to her family, or she connected to her mother through her mom's toxic ritualistic experience. And so she's geared to be such an enabler of these problems. Massive enabler. So she also frames it around politics, which I find a lot of people that aren't fully in the toxic ritualistic, they tend to use politics more. I think because that's probably more important to them. So politics is the way that the conversation is framed. It's also the way that the excuses are framed too. So it's like, because of political things going on, it's okay for you to engage in this. I just think it's funny because I don't know if people said that like that on the right when I was younger, but I think it was more like that libertarian vibe of like, the government can't control what I do. I'm going to have what I want kind of thing. Or, the liberal vegan wants me to eat this way and I'm not doing it. I'm putting the steaks out on the barbecue or whatever, even though they didn't. They just had a bunch of chips anyways. But that attitude was very much a thing in the past. But it is funny to see as generations shift and you have like, a generation of women that was more focused on the reductive at the time in the 2000s. Now that generation of women is older and the younger generation of women is focused on bingo instead. And then you see the men are different in this generation too. It's really interesting. But I think when I was looking at it earlier on, I thought that it was a strategy of the zombie horde, but I don't think it is the strategy. I think it's a natural generational shift that we are experiencing. And so I think you're seeing a lot of men on the reductive side now, and then you're seeing a lot of women or young men, young women on the bingo side. And it's just kind of this generational shift, and then probably in another 10 or 20 years it will swap again. It's just interesting, but it just goes to show, like, the toxic ritualistic can shed its skin and become whatever you want it to be. It's an incredibly versatile belief system that does, especially within bingo, it tends to center around politics, which I do think it's funny that they think they're so original. And so for me, in my experience as a millennial, to grow up in the toxic ritualistic, to hear the sort of excuses that were given back then, and then to hear these excuses today. So now engaging in the toxic ritualistic is an act of feminism today. It's like, okay. Whereas in the past, maybe it was rebelling against a vegan or something, or a vegetarian, or, that kind of thing. An environmentalist, it's like, I don't care about what they say. I'm going to do what I want. So that's more so what you would hear. It's like, or, caring about that as gay, that kind of thing, back in the 2000s. Whereas now it's like, caring about that is fascist, and caring about, eating healthy it's right wing, and, it's just so bizarre. It's almost clownish to me, honestly. I think just from my experience as a millennial, it's so clownish. And I just hope that people don't fall for it, but people really do. Like, people, when it comes to politics, they jump first, ask questions later. Like, it's like they say the right things, they say the certain words, and a lot of y'all just go for it. And it's really stupid. And I'm not saying the right is any better, they're not. But again, with this current generation, it's really centered on the left for some reason. It is so bizarre. And I know my other millennials are like, whoa, this is weird. Because we're old now. So we've gone through like a paradigm shift of the TR, And that is a weird thing to experience. So, and to a certain extent, it's even like documented online, because even if you were to go to like 2012, it was still primarily left wing to be in shape. And that's not even that long ago. But fast forward, the new Gen Z vibe, it's this way, and they're just so smart, She is so smart, you guys. She's so original. She has it all figured out. All right, so let's go ahead and react piece by piece.
Things that a young, single, 20 redacted or 30 redacted year old woman can do right now is be a little fat.
So I want to know, what is brave about being fat? I would love to ask that question. I think that it is one of the most stupid statements you can make. There's literally nothing brave about it. It's like saying it's brave to be skinny. That's a dumb thing to say. It just doesn't make any sense. It's taking an emotional or personality quality and projecting it onto a state of the body. And I think that it's really bizarre. I think it's bizarre. I think it's DIS ordered. Again, I don't think she personally has it. I'm not getting the vibe. I'm not really clocking it. As somebody who was in it real deep in the past, I don't see it in her. I don't. I see like a shadow of it, or like a hint. I see a subclinical vibe. But because it's not as serious, it's not being taken as seriously. Like, when somebody's in it, they take it serious, But when I'm hearing this, it's like, who could even think that bravery could be tied to body size? That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. Is literally, I mean, maybe not the dumbest thing I've ever heard, but it's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. And I think a lot of times people just, they don't care enough. Like, I think a lot of you guys who are not you don't have an experience with the TR, you're not engaging with fat acceptance rhetoric, you're not involved, you might hear that and you just don't even think about it because it's so like stupid, I guess, or you just kind of like blur it out in your head, or you just like, she can't mean that, or maybe you just take it at face value. I don't know. But if you do, I think you should question that. I don't think you should take it at face value because it's really dumb. If you think about it logically, tying a quality like bravery to a body size is stupid. It's incredibly superficial, and it's kind of just incorrect, you know? That depends on the person. That's, bravery is like more spiritual. It's like a spiritual concept. It's not a physical concept because it's about the quality of a person, which that's like a very deep topic if you want to get into that. I will say what is brave is leaving the toxic ritualistic. That is brave because you have to leave a mental framework. You have to leave a coping mechanism behind. But you see how that's like an action, and that isn't even necessarily tied to body size. However, weight normalization is a part of leaving the toxic ritualistic. So by that extent, I guess, but it's not really your size. It's the act of getting out. That is brave. However, staying in it, that's the least brave decision. That's cowardice. That's actually the opposite. So you're too scared to recover. So that's a lack of character, honestly. And I know people don't want to hear that, but it is the facts. That's the truth. It is a lack of character to not recover from the toxic ritualistic. It is a lack of character to not fight it, to sit in it and wallow in it is cowardice. To fight it is brave. But you see how that's a little deeper than body size, and it doesn't have anything to do with that. You could be too small or too big, and it would still be brave to leave. Just saying.
A little soft around the edges. Do you think I'm doing this out of my own love of delicious food?
So this is like a joke. Haha, food is so amazing.
And baked goods? No! I'm doing this for all the divas who came before me. We are the daughters of the witches who were cooking up some
I'm doing
fruit.
this for the collective of women. Now, I do feel like she probably does believe that. I think she believes that her being chubby or whatever, I don't know how big she is. I didn't look that deep. It doesn't really matter. It's more the concept that we're critiquing, not her personally. But I do think that she does believe that she is in some way resisting something that past generations of women went through, or something. Like she tries to tie up her laziness into some kind of purpose, which is really, really bad. I don't know what else to say. It is one of the worst things you could do is take the struggles of previous generations and basically, I don't want to cuss because I'm trying to be better about that, but SHIT all over them, all over their efforts, all over their struggles. You're just throwing it in the trash. You don't respect it. You don't respect the women of the past at all. That is not what they would want for you. It is horrible. It is no excuse at all. And it's honestly, if you want to talk about it from a collective, spiritual, collective mindset, if we want to go crown chakra, I can do that too. You're bringing down the collective with this statement. This is a very negative thing to say. This is a very, if you want to be real about it, this is a more anti-woman statement than a pro-woman statement. You are trying to bring down the collective health of women. So on a spiritual level, this is bad. I don't know what else to say. I mean, I can argue this on any level. If you want to go there, we can. But I do want to point out to you guys how often she's using spiritual concepts to reinforce the toxic ritualistic, specifically in others, and specifically in other women. It's interesting. It's like, I want to use politics, and then I want to use spiritual arguments, like the collective of women. That's a spiritual concept. So when I talk about that stuff on this channel, I'm trying to show you how it does relate, because it is often used as arguments all the time, in addition to politics. That's true too. But she's doing both. She's kind of like all over the place with this, which is interesting because she covers a lot of ground. And she is probably, even if she's joking, she's trying to change people's minds, at least a little bit.
Truly heinous concoctions from Skinnylicious cookbooks. And I'm also doing it for all the divas beside me right now, because it's getting really scary out there.
So because of the state of the world, it's okay for you to destroy yourself today. That's basically what she's saying. Now, the state of the world is always out of control, and that can definitely be a toxic ritualistic drive. We as individuals cannot control the world. If we try to do that, that is like a supernatural false belief that we must try to control something that is uncontrollable. And that is very reinforcing of the toxic ritualistic. It is very unhealthy mentally. And again, I don't know how much she believes it personally. She might believe it here or there. Does she actually do the actions behind it? I don't know. But a lot of other people do. A lot of people use that as an excuse. It's very common. And she's encouraging them to do it with that statement. So she's encouraging E fall by letter D behavior, because this is the logic that underpins a lot of things. Look no further than 2020 and what was going on then. How many people used what was going on then as an excuse to bingo? I did. I'm sure I'm not the only one. Again, for me, that was the last year that I did it. So I know I did, but I bet you tons of people did. Tons. It was not a good thing to do. It wasn't good, and it wasn't okay. And it's not okay today. It's not okay when Trump's president. It's not okay when Biden's president. It's not okay post 2028 when whoever else is president. It's not okay. It wasn't okay in the 80s to do toxic ritualistic. It wasn't okay in the 90s. It wasn't okay in the 2000s. It wasn't okay when Obama was president. It was not okay. It's never okay to destroy yourself. It's never okay to bingo. It doesn't matter. That's not real. Politics has nothing to do with that. You are choosing to do that. It's just crazy. It really is.
And you guys are acting like cottage cheese and protein powder are the most important levels of the food pyramid.
So that's for some people that are on a vanity journey, which maybe some people on that journey are TR. There are other forms of it, right? There are reductive forms. Or maybe they're not. Maybe they're just trying to get snatched, basically, and it's not that deep for them. A lot of people don't have an issue that are just vanity downsizing. But if that's not you, then it's not really your business. Why are you so upset about it? You know, I was doing it, and I was irritated with cottage cheese because I was having it all the time. You want to know why? It's because it's filling. You want to know why people like protein powders? Because it helps you build muscle. That's why. I have protein shakes. I don't have the powder because I'm not at that level, and I don't know if I ever will be, but you know, I've had more diet culture eras than I am in now. I still have a touch of it because, I don't know, I mean, I might have a little bit of diet culture stuff. I had like sugar-free Jell-O the other day, you know. It'll happen. It was dye-free though. I made my own. I just had to say that. Because I'm a diet culture vampire inside, and I'm just kidding. No, but I just wanted you guys to know I didn't have any dyes because I've been saying that all year, and I didn't. But it was like diet culture hack. This would really piss her off. If you don't want to have dyes and you don't want to have sugar, then what you're going to do is you're going to get, there's like these V8 Splash. They're like zero sugar. And I think they use stevia. So if you don't like stevia, then don't use them. But if you're fine with it, then use that. And you can just get gelatin and you boil 3 cups. And then you put 1 cup in the gelatin dish. And then you just pour the gelatin on the cold one. You stir it together. And then you pour the boiling hot V8 Splash into it, and then you put it in the fridge, and then you have like 40 cal gelatin for the whole thing if you wanted that. And I might do it again. So that's the way to do it without the dyes. Okay. So I just did that to piss her off. But also, hey, I got some hacks too. It helps sometimes. And gelatin is good because it can help with bones and all that crap. So I don't know.
And I know this isn't within everyone's control, okay? But you are safe with...
It's also filling. Wink, wink, wink.
Me. Trust. I'm ordering an appetizer for the table.
Okay. You're such an amazing person. This is very bingo too. So a lot of fat people will do this. Like, I'm the good one. I'm the one that won't judge you. This is how we have like toxic ritualistic reinforcement. So somebody like who's talking to Mia or, you know, whatever, it's like, you can come to me and we'll do this together. So that's kind of where that's the roots of that. I'm not saying that's what she's doing, but I'm saying that's where that kind of flex comes from. That's a bingo flex. It's a binge flex. I'm the nice one. I'm the one that you can indulge with. I'm the fun one that you can indulge with. You act like you're the only one. Every single other frickin' bingo zombie is the same way. You are not special at all. Typical. Textbook. That is a bingo flex. That's what that is. Super common. Super typical. You see it all the time. And I'm sure you've even heard it in your real life. You don't have to worry about that with me. I don't care. I won't judge. Of course you won't.
And I'm getting an entree, and I'm eating it all, and I'm not making any comment about how big it is, and I'm getting a dessert.
What an amazing person. Do you want, like, applause? What do you want? Because I don't really care what somebody does when I go out to eat. I don't think about it at all because it's not my business. And unless if I had a child, like if I ever have a child one day and they're very young and I'm in control of their diet, then I don't care. I'm not going to tell somebody what to do. I wouldn't tell my future partner what to do. I'm not going to tell my family what to do. If they ask my opinion, I'll give it. But it's like, I don't do that. And I don't really suggest it either, because if you want to, you can. Like, I think especially like a parent, I think it's worth it. And then obviously a child, like especially a young child. But other than that, I don't know if there's very many contexts where it's appropriate, because you have to like focus on yourself, you know? It's too hard. It's hard enough to do it yourself. Like, you don't need to focus on other people. It's a lot of mental chatter, and it can be a way of distracting from your own goals. And it can be a way of avoiding your own intentions or your own journey or your own progress. So I don't suggest it at all. I think it's actually toxic ritualistic to try to control what other people are doing. So when somebody says that, it's like, okay, I don't care. But she wants some kind of praise or something. Or she's like, I'm such a cool person. Not to me.
Not for me, but for you.
Okay, zombie pleaser. Go ahead and bow down to the horde. I'm going to get the dessert for you. Did you get the claps of the zombies? Is that what you wanted? I mean, it is... I would never want to get applause from people in this issue. I wouldn't. It's like getting applause from a bunch of alcoholics. It's bad. I just don't... I'm not into it. I'm sorry. You know, it's not like I hate somebody that's struggling. I don't. But I don't care about your approval at all. And when it comes to this issue, I am a no-nonsense bitch when it comes to this issue. We do not play here. At all. At all. So, we're not even... No. No, it is a very firm boundary on this channel. I am not encouraging it. I am not reinforcing it ever. I have said that many times. So no. I don't care about your approval.
I'm not asking you to thank me, but...
You are.
It is a courageous act of feminist resistance. And I'll be nice and warm this winter. Another one of the...
Okay, whoop-de-doo. I was still cold when I was big because I was hypo. And then I was anemic. Gosh, I don't even know what the hell is going to happen this winter, so I will let you all know. But I was anemic last winter, and I was hypo the previous one. So I never had a normal winter, and I remember I was still so big, and people would be like, well, you're going to be cold when you downsize. And I'm like, I'm big and I'm cold. So I guess I missed out on that. I wasn't a hot, fat person. I was a cold one. I was still cold. But it's because I was hypothyroid. I need to clarify that. Hypothyroid. Anyways, it's kind of funny to think about. But that's all we got. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.